Hello, Eric here with another video. This is a tomato video. This is a kind of a raised terrace bed here. I've cut into the side of the hill, and I make quite a few of these to level the ground up, and I can concentrate nutrients in them for the tomatoes. And these tomato plants here are tropic tomato plants. About 8-10 ounce tomatoes, very productive. My favorite kind. I've saved the seeds for several years, and these are usually my main crop, tomatoes, but I grow a lot to try out every year, always thinking I might find something better, but these are my favorite ones. These peppers here in the front are Aconcagua peppers. They're supposed to get a foot long, and I think they're from South America. The peppers there's a mountain down there called Aconcagua, I believe, but we'll see if they really get that big. But these tomatoes, very productive, tropic, and I'm growing these in the normal, we got a row here, we got a row there, and I've got them mulched and composted well. And for the last couple of years, I've grown several tomatoes in a different way. This is concrete wire. I made these cages out of with my dad years ago. And I would take and plant 4 tomatoes equal distances apart around the outside of a cage. And in the middle of the cage, I would, intensify the kitchen scraps, the compost, the cow manure, whatever I could find in the middle, and all those tomatoes, the roots would go into the middle and feed. And if you have to water, it's easier to water that way, and it's a neat way. It's worked out well. And one thing I've noticed about tomato plants is that they have a lot of lateral roots that can go, I pulled them up before, 10 feet long out from the plant. So I do not till. I have no-till garden beds and no-till garden. The biggest enemy of my garden is bare soil. I use living mulch, chop and drop. I use other mulch. And the best way that you can ruin your garden is to till it up. It destroys the soil food web. It makes your soil bare like a desert. And I do not like bare soil in my garden. And also, if you till your garden rows, especially tomatoes, then you're chopping up all the roots that are going out from the tomatoes down to a foot long. And tomatoes can't gather nutrients and can't gather water. So then you have to water more, fertilize more. But I do not till. Anyway, back to the method I was talking about. With the 4 tomatoes around the outside, intensifying fertilizer, and if you have to watering in the middle of the cage. And I was planting tomato seed this year, and I was thinking about how many tomatoes I wanted to plant that way. And I thought, they have the banana circle. Okay, I'm going to take you up here and show you, I guess, a tomato circle. I made a depression here in the ground, dug it out some, and banked the edges, and then I filled it with compost, kitchen scraps, leaves, hay, whatever I could find that way. I put it in the middle. Well, these tomatoes, I think there's 13 cages, and there's 1 tomato per cage around the outside of this depression with all the nutrients in it. Well, I know that tomato roots, can grow 8, 10, 12 feet long out from the plant. So I know all these roots are going to go into the middle of this, and I hardly ever have to water. But if I do, I can water right here in the middle. I can fertilize right here in the middle. And these plants are very healthy. Now, another thing about tomatoes, you read and they'll tell you, plant your tomato plants, 80% in the ground, so the roots can go out from the plant all up and down the stem. And that is true to a certain extent. But if you have a tomato plant that's long and leggy, maybe you've had it in the container a little too long, and you plant, a foot deep or 16 inches deep, the bottom part of that and the root ball is going to rot away, and it's going to have to restart growing roots from the stem closer to the surface, because tomatoes do not like to have deep roots. I mean, that's what I've found when I pull them up in the fall. They have lots of long lateral roots, and their roots only go down about 5 or 6 inches to the bottom. And if you go very deep, you're running deeper than your nutrients are anyway. So it's a lot better to have more surface area of nutrients for the lateral roots to come out and go through, in my mind, than it is to plant them really deep. Now, I do plant 4, 5, 6 inches deep, so they can grow roots up taller, up on the stem. But there's a point at which you can overdo that. This here is a Swiss Alpine tomato. Great tomato. I've grown this for probably 10 years. Very productive. It's early. Great tomato. About 3 ounces, 4 ounces. This one over here is a black cherry tomato, but this is not in the tomato circle. These are extras that I had over here. So, but they're setting tomatoes on. I have another tomato circle over here that I've mulched with mostly hay. These are various types. These are black crims on this side. Over here. And there's an Abe Lincoln in there. I think an extra tropic I had. Things like that. Anyway, just wanted to show you, this is the first year with this method, and so far, I mean, this is May 27th, and very impressive growth. I couldn't plant until almost May because we had such a late freeze. We had a really cold April, and then May has been the exact opposite. One of the hottest, driest Mays on record here. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that I was able to help you with maybe you want to try this method too. I don't know. Looks like it's working good for me. Thanks for watching.